Welcome to the start of the 23-24 school year at TUSD. The Curriculum and Instruction Division is proud to present our new instructional framework. This framework provides guidance and structure for intentional planning, the utilization of evidence-based teaching practices, and strategies to ensure student achievement and success. Our goal with this framework is to bring consistency district-wide, regardless of location, grade level, or school culture. Our logo draws inspiration from what a compass provides: guidance and direction. It's imperative to note that the TUSD learner is located in the center of our compass. This signifies that our educators will provide student-centered instruction. The outer components of our logo are the 4 main actions which embrace the learner: design, facilitate, assess, and reflect. These 4 actions are expected professional practices to ensure consistency in teaching and learning across the district. In a moment, we'll look at some examples of the action components. But first, let's review learner outcomes. In TUSD, we want our students to walk away with 4 major outcomes: critical thinking, emotional intelligence, communication, and academic preparedness. Possessing these outcomes will not only position our students to positively affect their communities, but will also prepare them for college and/or career opportunities. Possessing these outcomes will allow our students to evolve beyond problem solvers into challenge seekers that are thoughtful and intentional in identifying problems before they occur. Now that we've identified our learner outcomes, let's focus on how to get there. Our learner profile directly aligns with the outcomes. In TUSD, our focus is to shape emotionally intelligent learners that think critically, communicate effectively, and are academically prepared. To build the learner profile, our classroom communities and culture must foster inclusive and safe classroom environments that embrace excellence and high academic achievement. The TUSD classroom creates a positive, collaborative community while utilizing Sparks. Our environment should be safe and accessible to all students through culturally responsive, student-centered instruction. High academic rigor will shape an equitable learning environment through engaging activities which are accessible to all learners. Without this classroom culture, we cannot build our intended learner profile, which means our learner outcomes will never materialize.
This framework helps me to design my lesson by keeping my learning targets and my steps to success just in my head so that I can keep my student outcomes in mind. For me, having this framework in percentages was actually really cool. So I knew, like, if I had 60 minutes, but I need to spend 25% of that on just the actual learning or the facilitating of the lesson, then I knew exactly how many minutes I needed to have. Having like that steps to success, knowing that they need to know that and being able to assess them really quickly at the beginning of the lesson just kind of helps drive everything else that comes after.
If we didn't have the learning objective, it would be hard for us to focus. Basically, my teacher, she said it, and then I had it in my mind and set for like what I need to learn.
Our first angle that we're looking at in our objective, or what we are going to identify, is our right angle.
Turn your body so you guys can see our rec and rec, okay? I need your eyeballs on the beads. I have difficult behavior problems in my class. A lot of that is a challenge while I'm implementing. So I'm using kind of number talk signals. So they're holding a hand to their chest while they're thinking and putting up fingers for when they have answers or more than one answer. Math talks, thinking aloud, doing all that. Me modeling my thinking, students modeling their thinking, rephrasing students' thinking. I do have the manipulatives, and then I insist that they show me strategies and multiple ways.
We do quick write summaries. As we were doing fractions, they needed division, and so I used division as a quick write summary. And that was really just to practice that skill. And so that's what I'm doing now, is just looking at where are their gaps, and I plug those gaps using the quick write summaries.
Do we just have to do the exit ticket?
Yep, and that's what you're turning in.
Yes, can you show me your strategy so you can be sure that's your answer?
Once you do your work, the exit ticket is the finishing of that little work you do. You write your name at the top, or you get a 0, and you have to restart.
Usually I have them bring me the exit tickets to me, and I like walk around grading them as I go because I want to see right away. These are the kids I might pull with the math interventionist to do some extra practice. That's how I use that exit ticket piece and just immediately, okay, I know what the next step is.
I can look at my objective as I'm kind of grading everyone's, and I separate the exit tickets. I score them from like a 1 to a 4, and so I'll kind of separate and see. And if I have a lot of students that are in the 1s and 2s, then I'll look at what did we miss from today's objective. Today, one of the students in her quick write summary said like naming angles was something she still struggled on. And so when I go to look at her exit ticket, I already know that's something she struggled with. Based on the steps to success, I knew she needed that information. And so I kind of am already anticipating how it might affect her assessment and what I need to do, for the next lesson. This is what you said you were struggling with, right? And so that might be hard for you. But if you go back, you can kind of see how. So if you look back here, this is how they named those angles. Since really looking at a framework like this, my planning's gotten easier. Before having any kind of framework or the strategies that I'm using, there were often times where I would have no idea where my kids were. I was just kind of going lesson by lesson and kind of just saying like, okay, this is how they're doing, and not really having any kind of guidance.
This is kind of guiding to streamline it because it's really difficult. It's a lot. It's like volumes of material that you have to look through. So the framework kind of gives me the keys, like I'm gonna get this, 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 and this. And that's what's important, and that's what I'm gonna try and bring into my lesson.
The exemplar instructional delivery model provides guidelines for our instructional framework. It describes each component at a high level, and it can be used by our new teachers and our experienced teachers. It includes examples of what activities and actions should take place under each component. The Design and Prepare guidelines are sample actions teachers can take to design lessons that set standards-based learning targets and success criteria for students. For the facilitation phase, we provide 3 main actions that should occur during a lesson. These include activation of learning with a suggested 10% of instructional time, modeling with a suggested 25% of time, and it is followed by interactive practice suggested at 25% of the instructional time. Our framework finalizes the learning cycle with the assess component, where the teacher provides timely, actionable feedback and students practice independent of the teacher and use the success criteria to monitor their learning. This is suggested at approximately 25% of the instructional time. The last phase in the assess component is to assess and reflect, which is the closure of the lesson where the teacher allows time for reflection, checks for understanding, and provides specific actionable feedback on learning. Students use the success criteria to self-assess their progress toward learning targets. We are proud to provide an instructional framework that is aligned to our district's strategic plan, that embraces future-ready practices, and that is for TUSD by TUSD. Providing guidance on expected practices for teaching and learning across our district ensures that no matter where our students are in our district, they can expect a high-quality learning experience. Thank you for your commitment to our students, and have a wonderful 23-24 school year.